Live from Chris and Barry Fieldhouse here on the campus of Augusta, Georgia, as the Jaguars are getting set to take on the Patriots of Francis Marion here in this Peach Belt Conference matchup on this Friday night. And it'll be the first of 2 games in 2 days for the Jaguars this weekend as they'll get set to take on the Braves of UNC Pembroke tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, so not a lot of time in between games here this weekend. I'm Robert Ambrose. I'm joined by Blake Collins. Blake, how's it going, and what are your expectations going into this match?
Well, for this matchup, Francis Marion's come off a huge win against Lander, so that ups their resume, and it's gonna be tough because Augusta coming in supporting breast cancer tonight, and with their dominant front court, look for Francis Marion, to implement a little bit more speed and a little bit more chaos on defense to try to throw them off. But as far as the front court, they've been on lock as they took out Flagler on October the 20th, and then they come back before that Georgia College loss and won 2 straight. So they're looking good going into the final stretch of the regular season, and it's good competition for the playoffs.
Yes, it absolutely is. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at other scores from around the league as we preview this match and get closer to the opening serve here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be right back. Welcome you back here to the Chris and Barry Fieldhouse here on Augusta, Georgia, as we get closer and closer to the opening serve here in this one between the Jaguars and the Francis Marion Patriots here. That is one of 3 Peach Belt Conference matchups going on here today, all beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. In other matchups, the Flagler Saints taking on the Pacers of USC Aiken, just right across the border here over in South Carolina in Aiken. That matchup also beginning at 7 o'clock, and the Braves of USC take on the Jaguars tomorrow at noon. Will be taking on Georgia College, who swept the Jaguars in the last home match here at Chris and Barry Fieldhouse back on October 16th. That also beginning at 7 p.m. And tomorrow, in addition to the noon start between the Jaguars and the Braves, the Patriots take on Georgia College at 2 o'clock, and also at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the Flagler Saints take on Lander University, and at 5 o'clock tomorrow, the Pacers of USC Aiken, once again right across the border, playing host to the Braves of UNC Pembroke, who will do a doubleheader tomorrow. After they take on the Jaguars at noon, they will travel across the border to take on the Pacers beginning at 5 o'clock. So the Braves playing 3 games in 2 days over the weekend, 1 tonight and 2 tomorrow. That wraps it up here on what else is going to go on around the Peach Belt Conference over the weekend. And when we come back, we will continue to preview today's game and be set for the starting lineups, national anthem, and the opening serve here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We invite you all to Welcome back here to Christenberry Fieldhouse. The anthem has concluded, and we're getting set for the first serve of this match here between the Jaguars wearing their alternate pink jerseys here today. It's part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Patriots of Francis Marion in their road blue with red sleeves and white sides. Pretty patriotic for a team called the Patriots, as you might imagine, as we're set to begin this one. Mackenzie Beck, Sharik Brian Garbos, Chloe Allen among several of the Jaguar players starting here in this one. Also the libero Holland Martin in on the start of this one. This is the first of 2 games in 2 days for the Jaguars, and it's the first of 3 games in 2 days for the Patriots, as the Patriots also for the first of 2 games in 2 days for the Patriots as well, I should say, as they take on Georgia College tomorrow. The Braves of UNC Pembroke playing 3 games in 2 days tonight and tomorrow. They have a doubleheader tomorrow, 1 game here and 1 game across the border at USC Aiken. They're taking on Georgia College right now, as this is one of 3 matchups in the Peach Belt Conference beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We're underway here at Christenberry Fieldhouse. I'm Robert Ambrose with Blake Collins, and the first point of the first set of the first match of the weekend goes to the Jaguars. It's 1-0.
Yeah, you had a good setup there and a good transition from the front court. It looked like either Chloe Allen or Mackenzie Beck transitioned very well over to the outside attacker there for Augusta and completely caught Francis Marion off guard.
Tied at 1 now here in this one. Take a look at the implications here between these 2 teams. The Patriots are 4-5 in conference play, 13-11 overall. The only team lower than them in the standings is the Braves of UNC Pembroke, who visit Christenberry Fieldhouse tomorrow at noon. They're 0-8 in conference play, 9-17 overall. They were 9-9 in non-conference action this season, and the Jaguars take the lead 2-1.
The assist effort up front for Augusta has been phenomenal. Timing is right for the leap, the right height on the transition up to set up there. Chloe Allen there on the absolute crushing kill for Augusta to spread out this lead by 1.
Crushing. And another one there. It's 3-1. So the Jaguars are 5-3 in conference play. They're 18-5 overall. They're in second place in the standings. And I believe top 4 go to the conference tournament, which will be held in Greenwood, South Carolina. The host team is Lander. Jaguars lead 3-1 here in set 1. And they're on the attack to hit it back over, and that's going to land inbounds. So the Jaguars get a point. That's 3 straight for them. It's 4-1, and they're going to send Chloe Allen, 5'9" sophomore from Richmond Hill, Georgia, back to serve. And the Jaguars' last home match was on October the 16th against Georgia College, and they were swept 3-0. And then the following Saturday on October 20th, 6 days ago at Flagler, they bounced back to win 3-1. 3-1 in 4 sets total. And now take on Francis Marion and UNC Pembroke here in this one. And the Patriots get another point. It's 4-3. This is the first of 2 games in 2 days here for the Jaguars. Also 3 straight home games. They will wrap up the home season on Tuesday the 30th against Queens College, a 6 o'clock start time here at Christenberry Fieldhouse, and then we'll hit the road to take on USC Aiken and Lander.
And that's very, very tough regional competition with Queens. We don't get to see them much here on the home court at Christenberry, but that should be a can't-miss matchup on Tuesday.
It will be the last home game of the careers for several Jaguar seniors, including Mackenzie Beck, Natalia Govea, and also Savannah Gonzalez, who
that is if the Jaguars do not host any type of home playoff game. And if they went out, we very well could.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. It will be senior day, though, so the seniors nonetheless will be honored. As Lander, as I mentioned before, they're going to host the conference tournament on November 10th and 11th up in Greenwood, South Carolina. And then it's on to basketball season here. And the basketball team we saw here practicing recently, looking excited for the season. A lot of good players coming back for Coach Dick Mentris' ball club. The Patriots take the lead 6-5. Senior day is technically going to be, the seniors will be honored tomorrow, even though the final regular season home game is Tuesday.
Right.
Guess they want to do it on the weekend. And they get the most amount of people.
And not only that, but it's the last conference game as well.
That's true.
And so when there's a stiffest competition, and not only that, but the game tomorrow could play into the Peach Ball Conference standings. So a lot going on tomorrow. It should be a fun day.
Jaguars cut the deficit in half at 7-6. And Natalia Govea has entered the game for the first time, and it'll be her first time serving. And you'll see here, but she's one of those people when she serves, she likes to throw it up high and hit it hard. And she does it again here. Gets it over. She's one of the seniors that's going to be honored tomorrow. She's from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Both teams right now showing great response time on the digs out to set up transitional play.
Govea will serve it. Tied at 7 on this Friday night. And, oh, a beautiful dive by Beck and Martin. That was a good team dive if you ever, they don't appear in the stat book, but
that was
they should.
As you said, that was a great team dive for Beck and Martin, but even a better decision by Frances Marion to soft touch it over to make Augusta dive for the dig out there, and then they finish it strong on the back end with a huge kill right down the pipe, and right down the middle, and Frances Marion is now ahead by 1, 8-7.
And now tied 8-8. They'll send Chloe Allen back in, and Jessica Hedrick will take a seat. And libero Holland Martin will be back to serve. She's been designated as the libero her entire almost 2-year career here as a sophomore. And that is spiked down, and the point goes to Frances Marion. Jaguars next week with the 2 games against the first place team and the third place team in conference play against USC Aiken and Lander on Friday, Saturday next weekend, both road games. The Jaguars are the second place team, so the Jaguars are trying. It's going to be difficult to do that even if they win both games this weekend, but they're trying to clinch a spot in the conference tournament before next weekend. So it's one less thing to worry about, and then they can just play for seeding. They'll need some outside help if they want to do that this weekend, however.
Absolutely, a rigorous weekend ahead, just like the weekend when Lander and USC Aiken came here. Battle-tested weekend in front of them, but you want to close it out with this weekend's affair strong and the game on Tuesday with the Jaguars' point of view, hopefully garnering victories in all 3 of them. But right now, they're in a tough fight, down by 3, 11-8.
The Jaguars are 5-3 in conference play, 18-5 overall. The Pacers, who were in first place, they are the defending conference champs from a season ago, and they're right back at it here this year. They're 17-3 overall, 7-1 in conference play, 2 games ahead of the Jaguars, and their only loss in conference play was right here at the Chris to the Jaguars 3 weekends ago. And the Jaguars swept them here that day, but it was not an easy sweep. It was a hard-fought match. And the Lander University 5-4, just a half game back on the Jaguars in third, and Georgia College and Flagler tied for fourth at 4-4, and it's a shame that one of those teams is going to have to be left out of the conference tournament because only 4 go.
Yeah, especially the way Francis Marion is playing right now, and then Flagler is no slouch either. They've taken a couple of teams that you would think would be pretty good competition, especially a couple of the top 3 teams to test. So they're a really good squad as well. So it's come down to the final weekend next week, and we'll see what happens.
It's 13-9 Patriots up top, and they are off to a very good start here in this one. The Jaguars having a difficult time responding to the call here.
An interesting alignment here. 3 on the far side, 1 in the front court near, 1 in the back, and then 1 patrolling the middle for Augusta, and it works beautifully.
Now 13-10. The Jaguars traveled to UNC Pembroke and Francis Marion earlier this season. That was the last weekend of September. They swept both matches, or they swept the weekend, winning both matches 6-1. Their only loss was in one of the sets against Francis Marion when they won that one in 4 sets, and they beat UNC Pembroke in 3. That was on the road, and now they host them both here this weekend. And USC Aiken will be looking at revenge when the Jaguars come calling next Friday, and potentially they could be looking to close out a regular season title against the Jaguars as well. And certainly the Jaguars won't want to let the Pacers do that, and in order for that to happen, they're going to have to take care of business here in this one and then go in on a high note to Aiken next weekend and be ready to take it and put even more pressure on the Pacers.
Absolutely, and you just saw Francis Marion, the Patriots, with a beautiful dig save right there by Natalie Farrell, but then Augusta responds extremely well, coming off a fierce kill to only trail by 3 now, 11-14.
Jaguars battling back and forth. They continue to have 3 up on the net as usual. One of their strong points this season. Floater over the net. And a beautiful dig by Brian Garmos. Tap over. And the Jaguars, with a hard-fought battle, get the point. Now trail 14-12.
She caught enough of the ball to have it spin, and the rotation on that spin caused a downward spiral to the spin to where Natalie Farrell could not get to the ball in time to dig that out for the Patriots. So a very good decision there by Augusta, and they're in the trenches fighting for their lives now. It's 15-12 here in the first set.
One of the most important battles is the battle of the trenches in any sport. Martin hits it up to Beck, and a hard hit ball. And that's what the Jaguars do best, get it to Beck, and she gets them the point, and it's 15-13.
She has such ferocity on a lot of her kills that it's hard to pinpoint the direction that you want to go with the dig out because of the velocity and the force on that ball. It's unpredictable, and that's where the Patriots ran into the predicament of having to rebound off of the dig, and they could never recover.
Now 16-13, as that was a little too hard hit ball goes out of bounds. So the Patriots get the point there. They'll serve at 16-13. The first place Pacers today are hosting the Flagler Saints. That game got underway at 7 o'clock as well. We'll keep you updated as soon as we get score updates here throughout the night. And that's a tough matchup for the first place Pacers, as Flagler tied for 4th in conference play and playing in a pivotal matchup to try and gain ground to get into the conference tournament themselves. And tomorrow, the Flagler Saints will take on Lander, who is also battling for conference play. That's going to be a 2 o'clock in the afternoon matchup, and what a big matchup that'll be tomorrow in the Beach Belt Conference.
Absolutely. Flagler and Francis Marion have been a phenomenal second half team with tremendous pushes toward the playoff. As we mentioned before, one of them will not make it, but as it stands right now, Francis Marion is a really tough test for the Jags, and the Jags have got to try to circulate the feet here, move around on the court, play their style of game, set up transitionally well. Their mental mistakes have not been much of a problem tonight, which is really good, and they're not killing themselves. But look for more footwork, transitional play, and then you want to try to get a little bit more eye movement as well to set up different parts of the court to exploit it and expose that Patriot defense a little bit more than what the Jags are doing.
And a hard hit ball by Jessica Hedrick. That was a difficult one for the Patriots to field, so 17-14.
So right height on the transition, she comes down with tremendous power and just pinpoint accuracy, places it in the middle of two Patriot defenders. There was no way the Patriots could have dug that out. So the Jags now in possession.
That's high up in the air, and as a result, the Patriots had all sorts of time to get under that and hit it back over. The Patriots also put 3 up on the net, as the Jaguars do, and they have a huge height advantage themselves.
Absolutely. Their front court is tremendously tall, so it's going to take a lot, especially in these soft touches to get it over that front court. But right there, Mackenzie Beck saves that point for the Jags and ultimately orchestrates them coming back within 2, because on the transition back over from the Patriots off of that sliding dig, that's when Augusta capitalized and executed their 15th point.
Now it's back to a 1-point set. The Jaguars battling right back in it. It's anybody's set. Govea will serve it. Not only does she like to hit it hard and throw it high up, she stands very far back as well. Gives her all sorts of space and options on where to hit it.
And try right there. Try as you might to try to penetrate a brick wall mentality and defensive blocking scheme that Augusta has. It's very rare that you squeeze a ball in between two defenders such as Hedrick and Beck, or Hedrick and Gonzalez, close together like that, and the Patriots could not execute it enough to where they could get it in between there, and that the blocking scheme came back to haunt the Patriots right there as the block fell right back over on the Patriot side.
So all of a sudden we're tied up at 17. There'll be Govea's serve once again. His serve worked successfully last time. Why not keep at it? It's a good crowd here for a Friday night with all sorts of high school football going on around the country. Got a big day of college tomorrow and NFL on Sunday, as usual in the fall. The way it works. Also baseball going on today and tomorrow, and possibly Sunday with the World Series. And college basketball season just around the corner, as exciting as that is.
And you see how high these digs are and these setups are. It gives the teams time to set up their offensive play, which is what you want as far as a dig out or a setup transition, enough for the opposing attacker or your attacker to capitalize and produce the points.
That one sails out of bounds and the point goes to the Patriots, so it's back up 18-17. Important first set to try to set the tone early for both teams. The Jaguars wearing their alternate pink jerseys as part of a Pink Out Night for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here at the Chris. And the Jaguars have tied it up once again at 18.
Mackenzie Beck quick through the zone of the attack point, bringing her hand straight through, and tremendous power coming down on that kill. And when you have velocity like Beck does, it doesn't give the opposing defense much time to react. And right when it crossed over into Francis Marion's side of the court, they were frozen solid.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta give them limited time to react and hit them to where they can't hit it back. And it's a good game. It's like a good game of chess.
In ways, yes.
Rotating and hitting it back and forth to the right spots, just like moving your pieces to the right spots into position, trying to strike. 2018 Patriots. Oh, what a one-handed hit over beautifully by Mackenzie Beck. Now she digs it up on the other end. Fight back and forth here. And that's going to go to the Jaguars. So far, when there's been a lot of hitting back and forth, the two instances we've seen that this match, the Jaguars have prevailed both times so far.
They caught the Jags caught Farrell there, Natalie Farrell on the left side, trying to shift her weight back to the right, and she couldn't do it in time, and it fell right between her and the defensive specialist to her right.
21-19, Patriots. The Jaguars still trying to go on top here, but they're keeping it right within striking distance as they have been pretty much the entire set. Folks, admission here at Christenberry Fieldhouse is free for volleyball games. Parking is free as well, so why not come down and check out some of the action over the weekend here at the Chris?
Well, Savannah Gonzalez utilized her size to the best of her ability right there. She's like, we'll try to get it over in my house on my side of the court. Not today. You are going to be denied. And she emphatically scored their 20th point with that block that went on the Patriots side.
And we have a timeout here taken by the Jaguars, and it's been a really close set as both teams trying to close this thing out strong and set the tone early going into set two. And in order for that to happen, if you're coach on our side, Blake, what would you discuss here?
As far as Francis Marion, they're doing a really good job of when the holes are open to them, executing the play into the particular areas where they can capitalize on the points. I would say from their aspect, look for them to try to throw off the Augusta defense a little bit by maybe setting up some initial decoys, and then if you see Augusta trying to move to the side you're trying to set up, then execute like a transition and then a kill over to the opposite side.
Absolutely.
So that way you can kind of throw off this exquisite defense that Augusta has had all year long. We've seen numerous teams do that. Carson Newman's done that. We've seen Georgia College has been able to do that. So look for that to happen for Francis Marion, even though they're doing a really good job. And then from Augusta's standpoint and Augusta's behalf, just continue, see if you can get your front court back dominating like you have, and then your defense and the response on covering the holes that Francis Marion is exposing will catch back up, and you'll be in good shape.
Well, Georgia College was able to do that, and they were also able to sweep the Jaguars 3-0 here at the Chris. And they also beat the Jaguars in 4 sets in the matchup in Milledgeville back on September 25th. So they really had the Jaguars' number. Carson Newman, on the other hand, the Jaguars swept back on September 8th as part of the Augusta USC Aiken tournament. Or actually, correction, Carson Newman also swept the Jaguars 3-0. So they both had the Jaguars number. The Jaguars, however, came right back later that day and beat West Alabama in 5 sets.
And another thing, too, Georgia College and Augusta may see each other again. So will Lander and Augusta if the rankings or the positioning falls to where those two teams will play against each other. So look for, if that happens, a lot of different strategies and different schemes to counteract that from Augusta's behalf. But right now, Francis Marion they were on match point, and they still are, with Augusta ahead by 2.
Yeah, and the Jaguars will see Lander on November 3rd, the final regular season matchup. And you're right, it could be a preview of a conference tournament matchup. Both teams are projected to play each other in the semifinals if the season ended today, in the 2 and 3 matchup.
Absolutely. And now Francis Marion is trying to hang on here and make this a stiffer contest, but Augusta puts it home with a little bit of indecision there by Francis Marion. And what you saw a little bit from the opening set, where Francis Marion had a little bit of miscommunication on the defense that was initially set out in the opening points of the first set, comes back to haunt them in the finale of that first set, with miscommunication on the defense and the outside attacker on the near side being out of position. So Augusta scores a huge victory in set number 1 in this pivotal matchup. But if any team has the wherewithal to come back in the way that Francis Marion played, the points 5 through 15, if they can resume that type of play, Augusta's going to be in for a shootout and a really sharp volleyball matchup here in the second set.
Thank you, Blake. We'll be back to preview that second set in 90 seconds here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. Welcome back here to Christenberry Fieldhouse, getting set for set 2 here on the Augusta University Athletics Network between the Jaguars and the Patriots. The Jaguars won set 1 just now. I'm Robert Ambrose, joined by Blake Collins. And Blake, the Jaguars were battling from behind most of set 1. They had them right where they wanted them the entire time. And then at the very end, they were finally able to pull away and close out the set. And now they have set the tone early going into set 2, and now it's up to the Patriots to respond.
Well, first off, it's a great tribute to the pink out that we have here tonight, with the Jags fighting back, much like the breast cancer survivors do fight back all the time against cancer. So it's a very good tribute to that as well.
Yes, it is.
But so from Augusta's standpoint, mix it up a little bit more, establish your feet a little bit better. You're coming back strong. You're on a high right now, and not only that, but you want to see as well Natalie Govea get a little bit more involved, and not only that, but you want to try to get Savannah Gonzalez a little bit more touches than what she's had. But overall, Augusta, with that fierce comeback, is doing really well. Now, Francis Marion, on the other hand, it's like we talked about in the closing to the first set, they have a good team and a great team to come back. Now they just got to put it all together and put up a very good fight down by one set.
They do, and you also got to know that no lead is safe against this Jaguar team. The Jaguars are notorious for coming back right at the end and nipping teams at the end of a set.
We've seen them before, kind of when they get a lead or when they feel they can kind of not necessarily relax, but they can kind of simmer their feet a little bit and then strike when the time is right. Now, from that standpoint, Francis Marion will have to they will have to carry through the onslaught that the Jags are putting on right now to be able to come back.
Not only is no lead safe, but you also can't lose sight of the fact that each set is a marathon in itself.
Absolutely. It's especially once you have long drawn out points, your legs will get tired. You'll begin to see more holes open up. You'll be able to see the defense kind of tire out on both squads. Then it's all about heart, it's all about leg work, and it's all about the strategies that are performed out on the court and the final execution of the point to see which team comes out on top.
And that point goes to the Patriots, and they're up 3-1. They have the early lead just like they did in set one, and they kept that lead right until the very end. And the end is all that really matters. And the same goes for the standings in determining the matchups in conference tournament.
See, that's something right there with that Mackenzie Beck punch through or that kill that she had. You would have liked to have seen her. You would have liked to have witnessed her try to switch it up a little bit and go with the float over, seeing as she was going up against two of the tallest defenders that Francis Marion has on the front court in a brick wall type formation that we always talk about. I'd like to see her try to mix it up and go with a soft float over to overthrow that fierce blocking scheme by Francis Marion up front.
Francis Marion does have quite the height advantage, and the Jaguars try to overthrow it there, but the ball sails out of bounds, so it's 5-2 Patriots. And they have their libero. They're going to send Natalie Farrell back to serve. Jaguars, what the perfect spot to hit the ball. It's 5-3. In set one, they were, Blake, you mentioned this, and you're correct in that the Jaguars are able to make it difficult for the Patriots to decide quick enough and react fast enough, and as a result, the Jaguars get the points. The Jaguars are able to put the Patriots in those panic positions and get points. And just the two instances really where that happened, those little things, that was the difference.
Absolutely, and not only that, but on that last particular point, compile that with the mistiming of the front court or the outside attacker and middle hitter or blocker trying to block that. They mistimed their jump and they opened up the back end of the court for the Jags to expose, and Mackenzie Beck exploited that gorgeously.
It's a 6-4 game now. Patriots with the lead, and they are fired up here in this one. Head coach Lauren Baufield has them really believing here.
Well, and you would think they would be, because they're coming in here in hostile territory, taking on, going toe-to-toe with the second place team in the Peach Belt Conference. And this win will be huge for them to get them back to a conference 500 record and three ahead in the overall department on the season record. And this will be huge for not only their confidence, but from a team chemistry and scheme play as well, because if you see them reacting better, you see them trying to become more of a complete team like we're seeing right now, it will only work wonders in them having more confidence, knowing that they can cover more ground, knowing that they have the speed, and knowing that they can attack a team like an Augusta and get way ahead like they are now by 5 and continuing to press the pedal to the metal. It will only work wonders for them, hopefully having a chance to make the playoffs here within a couple weeks.
And let's not lose sight of the fact either, Blake, that yes, the Patriots are in second to last place in the standings in the conference, but yes, they are 4 and 5 and only one game below 500, but they're only one game out of the final spot in the conference tournament, so they're going into this one believing that they can win out and win a bunch of games down the stretch. And yes, they will still need a little outside help, but they believe it'll all work out for them.
And if you can go toe-to-toe with a second-place team like Augusta and their fierceness as a complete team overall, you can pretty much hang with anybody in the Peach Belt Conference. That's not only talking about the conference as it stands right now, but we're talking about regional opponents as well. So they're making a statement right now that, hey, we may be down, and we might be second to last and coming from the bottom, but we're definitely going to give you one heck of a fight, and we're definitely going to give you our best shot. So that way you have to respond. You have to be better than our best shot, and you have to prove why you are the second place team in the Peach Belt Conference. And right now, the Patriots are proving that they are here to stay and they are not going anywhere. This is shaping up to be a really crucial and really tumultuous 2 weeks away from the playoffs.
And another point for the Patriots, and it's 10-3 right off of a Jaguars taking a timeout. And that is a huge momentum booster. It's like getting a shutdown inning in baseball right after a big offensive inning. That's huge. So 10-3 Patriots in perhaps the most important set of the match, set 2 in a best of 5. It's usually the most important when you think of how different the complexion of set 3 could be depending on who wins. It's either going to be 2-0 or tied at 1. It's a huge difference.
And that right there, the Jags just could not get on top of the volleyball and drive it down. Instead, Alyssa Frazier got a little bit under the bottom of the volleyball, and it sailed up and out of bounds.
Now 11-4. Patriots of the Jaguars get a point on the service error. One of those free ones. Last year, the Jaguars reached the semifinals of the conference tournament and fell to the first place Pacers. And the matchup, we mentioned how the November 3rd matchup with Lander could be a conference tournament preview and how they're projected to meet up in the first round or the semifinals this year if the season ends today. The matchup for the Jaguars with the Pacers coming up the day before the Lander matchup could also be a tournament preview depending on the way things play out.
That is going to be a huge matchup because remember, back here during that that weekend stretch where Augusta was facing Lander, who was the number 3 at the time. Then the very next day they faced the number 1 team in the Pacers, who are still at number 1. That was a crucial win for Augusta to say, hey, look, you may be number 1, but look, we're knocking on your door, and we are not going away, and you're going to have to play your very best volleyball going down the stretch if you want to retain that first place, because you're only 1 punch or 2 punches away from unseating that number 1 seed up at the Peach Belt Conference. And if Augusta can win tonight and win tomorrow, and if the Pacers wind up losing their next 2 games, we're in a free-for-all for first.
Yes, we are, and it's going to be chaos. Like, you also say BCS chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's chaos in just about everything.
Absolutely.
And you love it. 13-7, Patriots leading the Jaguars here. Patriots trying to even this matchup. The Jaguars trying to go up 2 sets to nothing. And the Jaguars cut it to 13-8 on a net violation. They get it across. Blake, the season is winding down here with the final regular season home game on Tuesday and senior night tomorrow. Senior day, I should say, as it's noon start Eastern time. It goes by too fast. Just an hour ago, it feels like we started the season with the Jaguar Rumble tournament at the end of August, and 2 months later, and it feels a lot less than that. My second season here at the Augusta University Athletics on Network on YouTube doing volleyball is almost over.
It flies by, especially when you're having fun, because watching the Jags grow all season has been a blast, and they've had some stiff competition. Like we said, Georgia College swept them. Carson Newman has swept them. They've been in sets against Emmanuel and a couple of other schools that have wreaked havoc on them, and they've come back and won that particular matchup. But if it wasn't for the leadership, there would be no telling where they would be in those particular games. So they've had adversity that they've had to overcome. And with it coming down to the final 2 weeks of the season, you couldn't have asked for a better home stretch of games. First, this one at Francis Marion tonight as we speak. Then you've got UNC Pembroke tomorrow, and then the Queens game on Tuesday. It gets them set up very well for that final road stretch against Aiken and Lander.
That's what they're trying to do here. The Queens game doesn't matter so much for the conference tournament seeding, but you would think in terms of national seeding and a chance to host a NCAA tournament, it's going to be huge. And certainly the Jaguar seniors would like to play more home games after that.
Absolutely. And it's not all the time that those two squads meet on a volleyball court, but it's going to be a game, it's going to be a matchup rather, where there may be a little bit of a feeling out process to open up that game. We'll have to wait and see for the matchup on Tuesday. But right now, Francis Marion and the Jags are going toe-to-toe. This is almost like a heavyweight bout, getting 4 or 5 punches in, but then on the rebound, you've got your opponent coming back with a consecutive run of points, and you're going back and forth that way.
This matchup is back and forth, and the ball's being hit back and forth as well. Yeah, you're right. And it's also a one game at a time mindset as well. You can't pass to the next thing. You just got to do it one at a time.
That was a phenomenal read there by the Patriots to let that go, but what an incredible decision there by Mackenzie Beck. You had everyone concentrated up front on the front court, as we like to say in the trenches as well. Concentrating on the front court. So what does Beck do? She just shoots. She just kind of deflects it and shoots it over on a soft touch over to the near side and almost cinches it in play. That was a really good decision by Beck, although it didn't turn out for her.
Jaguars are on a 4-2 run. Make that a 5-2 run now. And Blake, this run started when Sharik Bryan Garmos did a beautiful no-look float over to the perfect spot, and it was one of those where the Patriots had no time to react on a no-look trick floater, working to perfection.
She's very good in unique ways, especially in the serve game. Defensive-wise, she is great, and then she has a knack to be in the play at all times, to where the ball will find her a lot of the times, and she has a chance to make the plays, and she is dynamic when she has the ball in her grasp, and she has been crucial for the Jags' success this year.
She's a junior transfer from Florida State College of Jacksonville, originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico. She's one of 2 Jaguar players from Puerto Rico on this year's team. The other is Carla Rosario. She's from Naranjito. And she also transferred as a junior college transfer from Florida State College of Jacksonville. Jaguars have cut it to 17-14, and a service error makes it 18-14. A service error by Mackenzie Beck. And that's rare for her.
You don't normally see that from one of the strongest players on the Jags squad. She's mentally tough though, and she won't let that drive her down. And we'll see how it plays out with Frances Marion now having control.
And another beautiful no-look float over for Brian Garmos. Is that becoming, Blake, her signature move?
She's had numerous attacks like that, and the best thing about those is it catches the defense so far off guard that their reaction, if they get a reaction out of it, is so late that by the time they go in for the dive to dig that out, the ball's already hit the court on the opposing side. So she has been electric in pulling off those type of attacks and those type of trajectories to where it throws the defense off. That was twice in that last particular point that the defense was thrown off. One time they made a spectacular dive to keep that play alive, but Garmos's shot, they could not keep it afloat.
Not at all, and it's down to 2, and once again, a timeout taken here, but once again the Jaguars trailing most of the set, just like in set 1, but they're keeping it close, and they're going to try and pull ahead just like they did at the end of set 1 to win the set, and the Patriots do not want that to happen here.
No, they don't. They can ill afford to go down 2 sets to 9. But the thing is you know the Jags are going to come firing out on all cylinders on attack mode, right?
Yes.
But we've talked about a lot of times too. You can have an attack mindset on defense, setting up different plays, being one step ahead of your opponent in that mindset, and that is what Frances Marion is going to have to do to even spread this lead out and elevate their lead total even more in hopes of capturing this second set and deadlocking the set tally at 1.
Yes, and it's all about the preparation when you're on defense in that regard.
Absolutely.
2-point game here in set 2. 18-16 Patriots. A lot on the line here in this one. If the Patriots are able to even the match, we'll know for a fact we're going to have at least 2 more sets after this one. Govea will serve it for the Jaguars. Not only does she hit it up high and hit it hard from far back, but she's also really good at hitting it low so that a defender on the first dig attempt has to dive for it. And she's also able to still hit it low and hit it over the net. That's not easy to do.
No, and that takes a tremendous amount of precision on her part to do that. And it's been interesting, too, that she's been able to navigate a defensive alignment when it starts off for the Patriots. They've had at least 2 particular intriguing alignments. One, they had one player on the near side here, 1 on the far side, and then 4 on the backcourt in a point on the first set. That time they had 3 on the far side, 3 in the back, and no one on the near side of the court to defend that, and that's where Govea was trying to go, even though she didn't quite make it there, and still the Patriots hung on for dear life. The Jags still capitalized.
And the Patriots retake the lead right after the Jaguars tied it at 18. Off of the timeout, it's now 19-18. Patriots back up. Holland Martin for the Jaguars will serve it. And that sails out of bounds. Jaguar point. We're tied again at 19. It was 22-21 in set one in favor of the Patriots before the Jaguars took their first lead in a while and closed it out, winning 25-22.
That kill set forth by Frances Marion was almost like a line drive you see in baseball. Straight, sizzling, and gunning for Govea. All she could possibly do to get out of the way was do a juke on it, and she did that wonderfully, although the Patriots wound up not capitalizing.
Patriots back on top, 20-19, refusing to give the lead back to the Jaguars once again. And now we're tied again at 20. Remember set three, the closeout set when the Jaguars hosted USC Aiken 20 days ago? It was back and forth until into the 30s before the Jaguars finally pulled off the sweep. That's why I say that was a hard-fought sweep.
Absolutely. And you can look for even stiffer competition and a game just like that when they face them on the 2nd of November. That's going to be a really crucial game and a really crucial matchup. But the Patriots have survived the storm of the Jags, and they have firmly planted their foot in saying, hey, you're gonna have to drain us dry of our energy to beat us, because right now they are holding their own here in Christenberry, and they are giving the Jaguars fits.
Refusing to fall behind. Once again, Jaguars have tied it 3 times in a row, but once again, each time the Patriots answer back with a point and retake a 1-point lead, and now it's a 2-point lead, 22-20. Patriots are starting to feel it. Still a long way from over, don't get me wrong, Blake.
No, not at all. If the Jags are never going to submit to anything, they have a team that can soar at any particular point and strike back with lethal force in a quick rate to say, hey, it'll be right by you before you even know it. So that's going to be one area that if the Jags are going to be able to strike back and capitalize, they're going to have to convert on 3 straight points now to do it. They're a team that can do it, but if Frances Marion has anything to say about it, it's going to be a long set for the Jags to finish out.
And no matter what, it's going to be long. It's a timeout now, but it's 23-20 Patriots. The Patriots are a point away from making it a set point. They had 22 points in set 1 before the Jaguars pulled away on them, and now they have 23, so they're a little bit closer and have a little bit more of a lead, but it's still a close one. So there's no room for comfort, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely, and you've got a really good core now out for the Jags, and Beck, Garmos, Allen, Savannah Gonzalez, Natalia Govea, and Holland Martin out on the court. So it's going to be interesting with that type of lineup and knowing what they can do, how Frances Marion is looking to attack this particular lineup that the Jags are featuring now, in hopes that they can score 2 consecutive points without the Jags having any hope of a comeback within their grasp to see if they can capture set number 1.
The Jaguars want to get some points back. It starts now. You don't want to be facing set point, I should say. So battle back as soon as possible, but the service error gives the Patriots the point, and it is set point 24-20.
That was all set up by the dig by Martin. She could not get her hands under it in time to get a dig out enough to where the defense could set up to transition into an attack. And then when Beck had the kill opportunity, the blocking defense on Frances Marion was already jet set on blocking that, and they put the hammer down on the Jags on that last point.
And it's 24-21. The Jaguars get a point on a cross-court kill. 24-21.
How in the world did the Patriots right there retain possession out of the net and keep that play alive?
And they keep the set alive with another point. It's 24-22.
So all that effort they put in there from the front court to keep that first kill, that first float over a kill alive, comes up as to naught as the Jags found a picture-perfect area to attack, and we've got a ball game.
Yes, we do. The Jaguars have scored 2 in a row and are not going away. And the match points are the hardest to get, just like a closeout set's the hardest one to win.
It's this type of matchup is like the 27th out in a baseball game. It is the toughest. It is the most excruciating point to get because you know you're 1 point away. And you know the defense is going to give you everything that they have within their power, which makes it doubly tough and even sometimes triply tough for you to find holes, execute your game plan, and capture that 25th point to bring home that set.
And that's something that's being discussed on the Patriots side. The Jaguars are already ready to go with a little bit of momentum on their side. See how that plays in here. Martin hits it up in the air, high up in the air to Beck, who gets it over. And now on the attack go the Patriots, and a whistle and a point for the Jaguars. Was that a hitting violation?
It looked that way. You had one too many touches on the Francis Marion side at the last second, and the Jags are right back in and only 1 point away from forcing a sudden death in this scenario.
High up in the air. Jaguars looking to even the set at 24. And the point goes to the Patriots, and so does the match, and we're tied at 1. Here as we move ahead to set 3 here at Chris and Berry Fieldhouse as the Jaguars take the first set. Patriots answer back to close out set 2 here in the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back here to Chris and Barry Fieldhouse as we're getting set to start set 3 here between the Jaguars and the Patriots. The Jaguars took set 1 and the Patriots took set 2. And as we get set to start, I'd like to just announce this just in. The Jaguars men's basketball team in an exhibition game up in Columbia against South Carolina has defeated the Gamecocks 77-72. And that makes you think, hey, this Jaguar ball club could have a special year this year upcoming.
You know what that reminds me of? Appalachian State versus Michigan.
Yes.
I'm going there. Yes, I'm going there, but it does because you have a Division II school going into a Division I opponent and completely shocking
Absolutely.
the CSRA area and sort of the coast of Georgia and South Carolina with that victory. Well done, Augusta Jaguars men's basketball team. You definitely deserve it. It's going to be a phenomenal year, but what a heck of a start to kick off, even an exhibition to kick off your season.
It absolutely it is. And speaking of Appalachian State, they won their national title that year, and they had also won the 2 years before. So they went into that with a lot of momentum and confidence when they took Michigan on.
Absolutely.
And that helped, and then they used that to kickstart their three-peat when they won it all year. And that, by the way, was not an exhibition game, and that was what ruined Michigan's season. South Carolina can start all over 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty soon, but still, what a win for the Jaguars.
And the thing is, too, the SEC in Division I in basketball is on the rise, too. You've got Kentucky as a predominant force, yes, but Georgia, South Carolina, and a lot of these SEC schools that are not majorly known for basketball are starting to get better and are starting to rise above their expectations. So that makes it even better for this men's Augusta basketball squad pulling out a victory in hostile territory in Columbia.
Florida's been good for a lot of years,
right.
And South Carolina had a down year last year, but let's not forget what they did 2 years ago, making an historic run to the Final Four as being a team that hardly ever made the tournament as far as I could remember. And Auburn made the tournament for the first time in a while last year, made the round of 32, got dominated by Clemson, who was in the tournament for the first time in a while as well.
Yeah.
And Clemson, who's an ACC team, but geographically in the same area as the SEC, pushed Kansas to the limit in the Sweet 16 last year.
Well, as tight as that game was and is, with Augusta squeezing that out, we've got another tight one here with Francis Marion and the Patriots going toe-to-toe with the Jags here at Chris and Barry Fieldhouse, and the Jags send a kill out toward the Patriot territory, and they deflect it to the south, not north, or not up, and no one could recover on the Patriot side. They were sent sprawling to try to dig it out, but the Jags capitalize, and they're down only by 2-1. So the first 2 points go out to the Patriots here, but the Jags now with Garmos back, setting up Gonzalez. That is a key transitional setup there with Garmos setting it up cross court to Gonzalez to punch the kill home for the Jags in a phenomenal executed play. Jags have control and a fierce server in Natalia Govea back to execute. Francis Marion, 2 digs out, kill over to the middle. Howard Martin blocks. Savannah Gonzalez with, I believe it was Natalie Farrell on one part of the dig there. Dug it out beautifully, but the deflection careened off to the back part of the court, so the Jags are springing out to a 4-1 advantage over the Patriots of Francis Marion. Now Francis Marion digs, a little bit of miscommunication as the defensive setter dove in front of Farrell to dig that out, and they could not capitalize on the transition into the offense as that kill attempt goes straight into the net. The miscommunication, Courtney Abdur-Rahim dove directly in front of Natalie Farrell and could not capitalize on it, but now the Patriots even though they were down by 4, convert on a Jaguars miscue, so it is 5-2. Jags leading the Patriots. The Patriots, though, are trying to fight back, but the Jaguars are leaping forward here with a kill that was blocked by the Patriots. Dug out beautifully well, but then on the very next exchange over, soft touches killed the middle of the defense there for the Patriots, and the Jags tack on their 6-point right in front of the libero, Natalie Farrell. Raheem gets a second opportunity at glory there, and that was a beautiful kill directed toward the back part of the court, and the Patriots now are only trailing by 3, showing signs of life here. They don't want to trail by too much, as we've seen the Jags over the past 20 days to 3 months now, or excuse me, 20 days to roughly since the start of September, cruise when they're up ahead like this. So you want to try to keep it within a 5-point radius if you are the Patriots, and they're doing just that. Is that point is capitalized on by the Jags, but they're up by 5 now, as Garmos is back, ready to serve it off into Patriot territory, and the response is wide from Raheem on the kill attempt, so the Jags usher out their lead even further now to 6 points, 9-3 is your tally. And a dig attempt, the form was great, just a loss of concentration on Farrell's behalf for Francis Marion cost them their 10th point this particular set. Back over on Francis Marion's part, and then they redirect a kill that Govea had her sights set and her weight distributed evenly, and could not distribute the weight over to the left-hand side to dig that out. So exquisite accuracy there by the Patriots to garner their 4th point. Now, 10-4. Almost 10-5, but Govea has other ideas as she digs that out, and Garmo sets it up. Govea transitions well back on the counter, and the kill. The counter was dug out tremendously well by Farrell, but then they go right back to the off-center and off-balance defense that Farrell had. Her base was a little bit off balance, and they capitalized with that kill right in front of her. So it is 11-4. The Jags are putting the pedal to the metal now, up by 7. The Patriots dig that out beautifully. That was attributed to Georgia Garrison on the dig. Now, back, fires back. And then Garrison shoots it back over. The Jags volley it back over. Then the Patriots kind of shoot it back over into Jags territory. Then the Jags struck big right there, Robert, with their 12th point.
Blake, the Jaguars could not have gotten off to a better start in set 2 after the way the first, in set 3, I should say, after the way the first 2 sets went. Right. They are angry after dropping set 2, and they want to get back on track. And there might be a little hangover, just a little, for the Patriots after winning set 2 with the euphoria, but you gotta have a short memory and be right out there and continue the battle even when things are going your way. That's not always easy sometimes, and the Jaguars may have caught the Patriots in that sense, and now the Patriots have to regroup and battle back. But they're down 12-4, and that's not going to be easy against this Jaguar team.
Yeah, because facing a team like the Jags, especially with the lead that they're out to now, they're not going to have any type of euphoric tendencies about them, especially with toughly test-driven as they have been this season
Yes.
with stiff competition. So they're going to be putting the pedal to the metal, playing their best volleyball at all times. So that type of mentality, you know, is going to happen with Augusta. So Francis Marion has got to play above that level and bring their A game, if not a little bit more, to try to convert and capitalize on opportunities that they have to settle the score. And right now they're not doing that, as it's 12-4, and this particular serve is converted, and then the libero for the Patriots has 2 consecutive digs. She went for a third one in Natalie Farrell, but could not dig it out. She dug it out, but then it went wide and sailed out of bounds.
And the Jaguars continuing to roll right off a timeout. They have the libero and the server back, everybody else up on the net.
And a huge transitional setup there, bringing back to life this Patriot offense. Transition set very well. Then to bring it on home, the kill right there from the Patriots, showing signs of fight and valor and not willing to die, as it's 13-5.
I'm sure the Jaguars in that timeout also discussed, even with the fast start, they got to keep it going and not let the Patriots answer back and think they can battle their way back in it. They got to tell Patriots, no thank you.
Absolutely. Well, you've got the Patriots now settling in on defense, springing back to attack. That's what we touched on a little bit earlier in a defensive position, but attack variation of a mindset there's transitioned very well, and then caught the Jags sleeping on the defensive end, and they're only down now by 8, 14-6. The Jags set it up beautifully, cross-court transition, and Frazier cooks that one on home and sends it sailing to the back part of the court for the conversion on the Jags' 15th point. 2 digs to set up on the Jags' defensive part of their court. Now the Patriots have it back in their possession. They shoot it over. Martin's there for the dig. Shoot it back over to Frazier, who just by merely centimeters kills it out of bounds. So the lead has been no greater than 8 for the Jags. Can the Patriots even diminish that lead even farther? Or further, I should say. And now you've got the Jags transitionally setting up a float over that was right in the middle of 3 defenders for the Patriots, and they could not converge on the dig. So it is 16-7, and the Patriots now are on their last leg here, Robert.
Yes, they absolutely are, and it's a tough hill to climb at this point, and you got to catch fire and go on a big run. You don't really have room to chip away at this point. You got to really, like I said, go on a run and make it hard for the Jaguars to stop you.
And a crucial timeout here called by Francis Marion to rebound the girls, to get them set back to playing their type of game, because right now Francis Marion is playing the Jags style of game of volleyball with confusion on their defensive end, allowing the Jags to strike. We will be back in about roughly 45 seconds to finish out the third set. This is Blake Collins and Robert Ambrose with you on the call. We will be back very shortly. So the Jags with Gouveia out on the serve, set it up beautifully for the Patriots to respond. A crucial block by Gonzalez on the far side keeps the play alive. Garmos to Hedrick, but she cannot capitalize. And on the opposite side of that, on the far side, a transition that was executed very well, but the kill migrated a little bit too far wide.
And the Jaguars are continuing to roll 18-7 here in this set. And one of the advantages of their runs is they've forced the Patriots to use their timeouts, which makes it even harder to come back.
Especially when you get down to around the 20 to 20 point range for the Jags, and you're stuck within 7 to 9 to 10. And that's when the mentally tough, that is when the least amount of mental and physical errors will prevail for the Patriots. But they don't want to be in that position as the Jags continue to take it to them. And the front court, which has been an advantage for the Patriots on that particular possession, let them down when they could not get their hands in a position to dig that ball out and try to block what was coming to them.
Just nothing going the Patriots' way here in this set. Still a long way to go, though.
Natalia Gouveia streamlines a serve straight back into the backcourt. Transitionally set up beautifully with a swing out kill to the near side. Patriots set up again. Man, oh man, was there velocity on that kill by Alyssa Henson. She came, she saw, and she conquered on the near side deposit to the hole that was open. And the Patriots come back to life for 1 point, and then a miscue right there puts them even at a greater deficit. 21-8 is the running point total for the third set. And it's going to take a massive comeback, Robert, for the Patriots to even make this set a contest at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. The Patriots still not even to double digits in points here this set. And the Jaguars are 4 away from going up 2-1. And anything sort of run or momentum the Patriots can carry over by battling back, even if the Jaguars are able to close it out here in this set, will help them as far as momentum going into and confidence into set 4. Because they will not want to get off to a start like this again.
Got tremendous digs from the Patriots right here. And then one for the Jags. Tried to set up an offense, but a violation on the Jags occurred, and now they breached the precipice of double digits to the Patriots in points. They're only down by 11. Could they possibly come back from this? The Jags have other scenarios and possibilities in mind as a dig dug strong dugout there by Gouveia. Farrell set that up beautifully for Hanson, the outside hitter for the Patriots. Now on the Jags' behalf, Gonzalez amps up but blocked. And Augusta could not respond with as that particular block was down too far in deep in the front court for them to dig that out, even though Sharif Bryant Garmos tried her darndest to dig that out. Raheem back off the volley, back over, and the setup was beautifully created there, and then to capitalize with a kill. The Patriots now only down by 9.
Only 9.
And you got to believe here, Robert, every point that the Patriots score that the Jaguars don't, it is a breath of fresh air and a breath of fresh life, because right now, even though they're down by 10, they have been trailing by much worse here in this set.
Yes, they absolutely have. They were down as many as 13 actually as many as 14 not too long ago. So they've started a little bit of a run, but still a long way to go. And the Jaguars with another point there to answer right back.
So little bit of miscommunication there on the Patriots' behalf caused for the Jags' 23rd tally on the scoreboard. The Patriots are down to their last two breaths here in this set, but not without a fight, they say, as Hansen delivers on a kill that was stuffed initially at the net, but the deflection, she hit it low enough to where the deflection could only kick Kareem down on the Jag side of the court.
And that Kareem gives the Jaguars, once again, it's a 10-point lead.
And the Patriots it looked to me, Robert, as they were trying to guard the corners and guard the little nuances that the Jags could capitalize on the corners, but they forgot about the middle of the court, and the Jags with Beck right there on the float over capitalized big time. And on that particular point, the Jags capture the third set, 25-13, off of a flying defense for the Patriots, but they could not. As much as they were digging a lot of the balls out, it became too much for them. They were trying to cover too much ground, and it ultimately came back to bite them as the Jags soar to a 2-1 set advantage as we migrate to the fourth set.
Yes, we do, and the lesson for the Patriots here is they can't let the Jaguars get off to the kind of start that they did in set 3, because once the Jaguars are on a roll, it's nearly impossible to stop them, and for the Patriots, after falling behind at the start of set 3, there was no stopping it.
Absolutely, and now with the Patriots down by a set, and it's with them looking possibly at a final set here, Robert, you would think that it's full throttle from here on out for the Patriots.
It's full throttle, yeah, on both sides. Obviously the Patriots need this to force a deciding fifth set, and the Jaguars want to close it out. Get ready for tomorrow.
Absolutely, and with them being down by a set for the Patriots, it's almost like they have to play perfect and with very much precision, with not many mental mistakes, but psychologically you cannot think that way.
No.
You have to play to your strengths, play your game, and make Augusta become discombobulated on defense and play the Francis Marion Patriots style of volleyball to come back and to sudden death with a fifth set.
Yeah, they got to get off to a better start than they did, and they were able to get off to starts in sets 1 and 2, and in set 1 the Jaguars came right back, and they were able to close out set 2. So they know they can do that if they can get off to a start. I think it's going to be hard on the roll the Jaguars are on now. The momentum, like I did say, they're hard to stop. And the momentum, even though the points don't carry over from set to set, the momentum does.
Absolutely, and from confidence-wise, the Jags are flying high. The mentality from the Patriots aspect is don't let them get off to a run here up by 2 or up by 3 or even further. You want to try to keep this within a manageable affair, and also, like we said, press the pedal to the metal, full throttle, and make the Jags play your game to capture this second set. It's going to be a heck of a fourth set with Patriots backs to the wall, in what could be the decisive set here in this matchup.
And the reason this could be decisive, because obviously mathematically the Jaguars would win the match if they win, because they would be 3-1.
Right.
But if the Patriots win this set and force the set 5, they're going to have the momentum going into set 5. And set 5, the fifth set in a volleyball match is the one matchup that becomes a sprint. So if the Patriots have the momentum, there's going to be a lot more minimal margin for error for the Jaguars going into the fifth set when it's first to 15 instead of 25.
Absolutely, but not the start the Jaguars wanted to get off to, as that sharp kill sailed out of bounds, or excuse me, in play rather, as they looked to go out of bounds, but the Jags capitalized beautifully with the initial point here in this fourth set. Patriots are playing from behind, and they could not capitalize as a touch up front in the court haunts the Patriots right there as it sails out of bounds after the touch and a deflection. Now the Patriots send it back over to the Jags side. Again, the Patriots are covering the corners, leaving the middle of the court open, and the Jags are seeing that clear as day, and they are responding beautifully and striking in that mid-court while the iron is hot.
Striking while the iron is hot is the importance of momentum.
Absolutely. And as we see right now, yeah, the Jags are continuing to strike while the iron is hot here, ahead by 4.
Yeah, and the Patriots will need to cool off the iron and get it hot on their side.
Absolutely. And now an early timeout here from the Patriots. This if you're a Patriots fan, it does not look good, as this early of a timeout is not necessarily in the best of situations to have to call a timeout this early.
Well, it's a replay of set 3. The Patriots were forced to use their timeouts early, similarly because of the Jaguars getting on a roll. And the Jaguars, while the iron is hot, they're back on a roll. The momentum has carried over, and it's 4-0 here early on. Closeout sets are the hardest, and that's what the Jaguars are facing here. But with the momentum they're on, they're so far, it's still very early, fourth set. We'll knock on wood, but they're making it look easy with the momentum.
The Patriots,
still early though.
Yeah, the Patriots come right back though, and they're saying 4 is all you're gonna get on this particular string of points, as they come hard with a kill, and the deflection off the front court of the Jags tumbles out of bounds. Patriots now serve. Alyssa Frazier coming on strong, and then switching it up in the last second with a soft touch over. And after the Patriot point garnered by Carrie McGinnis, Alyssa Frazier comes right back and responds beautifully with their 5th point. So the lead is stabilized at 4 points right now for the Jags.
Was there a little bit of blood on the floor there?
Either that or sweat, one of the two.
Nevertheless, it is a slip hazard. Something you do not want in volleyball.
And here again, you see, Robert, that they've got 4 in the backcourt, 2 on the near side, like we were talking about earlier, leaving the left side of the court open if you're the Jags to capitalize on.
Jaguars are very good at capitalizing on certain parts of the court, where to hit the ball.
Especially when you're given that big of an opening. I mean, that's massive compared to some of the defensive holes the Jaguars have been able to convert on offense through. Now, Francis Marion, though, has come back strong. 2 consecutive points on a run of their own, which we haven't seen this set in. This is the first time this set we've seen that. So they're looking good coming out of the gate here, but the Jags come right back and knock it over, and then the Patriots have no response to that particular point. So now Holland Martin sets it up beautifully for the serve. McGinnis fires the setup over there, and I believe that is Hansen on the far side. Crushes a kill right there and brings the 4th point home for the Patriots. Jags now locked on Garmo, set it up beautifully in the front court. A small kill there, dug out by the Patriots. Back to Garmos now. Beck, as sure-handed as she is, sails it wide. A minor mistake that we don't see from Beck very often, but it cost them the Patriots' 5th point. And now the Jags are kind of playing back on their heels as they're only ahead by 1. The Patriots now, McGinnis to the near side, and Liana Thigpen with that particular conversion. And for the first time in about 2 different sets here, Robert, we're deadlocked at 6.
Well, the Jaguars were on a bit of a roll to start this set, but the timeout this time around for the Patriots, even though they used it early, it paid off, whereas the timeouts used early on in set 3 did not. There was just no stopping the Jaguars in set 3. It was just their set.
Absolutely. And when the Jags get on, when the Jaguars get on a run like they had in that 3rd set, it is almost extremely difficult to stop them, and it takes a very good squad playing to the best of their ability to stop them, and they capture that 3rd set with ease. But here in the 4th set, it's a different tale, as that kill by, looked to be by, Savannah Gonzalez, was blocked, and the Patriots are sparring back here, 7 apiece. Collision up at the front court. It sets it up beautifully though for the Patriots, and they capitalize with a strong finish with a kill by Georgia Garrison. And their first lead of this 4th set, and their first lead in at least 2 sets.
First lead since the end of set 2.
And now, Augusta may be a little bit on the fringes now as they sail one wide, trying to play from behind. As a crucial and stiff block by McGinnis. It's not very often when you go one-on-one with Beck. Beck does not get the better of that situation, but McGinnis held strong. She was saying she was not going to be denied the point, and denied Mackenzie Beck the point. That is really tough to do. And now it is 10-8. Patriots are ahead by 2. As we set it up for you with Garrison on the serve. Jazz come with a 2-pronged fierce kill attack, with the far side getting the kill. Garmos. Beck. Set it up really well, and a infraction on the Patriots side of the ball allows for the Jags to score their 9th point. It's 10-9. Beck punches it over. McGinnis back to Kayla Arthur with the
long kill. And now we are in the midst of our third deadlock here in this third set at 10-all.
It's becoming a back and forth battle, just like set one was. And the Jaguars now have the lead.
And the Patriots, they are coming back strong, and it's almost like well, as you see right there, you got Frazier coming in strong on the kill in the middle of the court. These Patriots have come back all season long in some of their wins, and now they're trying to hold court here against the number 2 seed in the Jaguars of Augusta University. That setback defensive specialist on the dig, set up for the front court. Garmos redirects that dig back into playable territory. Gonzalez treks back into the defensive side of the court, gets it back over, but then just too much offense for the Patriots for the Jags to capitalize on that play. And now Patriots send it off on the serve by Arthur, and the Jags fell short up front in the front court. It's not very often we say that, Robert, as the Patriots may have found something they want to continue to exploit.
Well, they do have height advantage up front. They have Kerry McGinnis, who's up front at 5'8", and they also have one player at 6 foot and 2 others over 5'10". So they have just as much a height advantage as the Jaguars have, even though the Jaguars, we know they love to use their front.
Mackenzie Beck scores that last point, but then, as we've been mentioning, this is a tug-of-war type of matchup here, with the Jags scoring one, then the Patriots fighting right back and triggering their 13th point to deadlock this at 13 apiece. And the Jags bring home the lead here, 14-13. And Robert, we're in the midst of seeing a different Patriots team from the third set here, transitioning into the fourth set. This to me looks like a completely different squad from those 2 sets.
And that's why at the end of the day, the closeout sets, like in this case for the Jaguars, are the hardest ones, because the Patriots want to extend it, and obviously that was not the case in set 3, and the Jaguars absolutely went on a roll, and this time the Patriots are making the closeout set a lot harder, as you would expect.
And now you've got Govea with her deadly serves, but you had a dig dug up perfectly, but the timing on that kill was not there, as McGinnis could not even attempt a kill like she was wanting to, and now the Jags have sprung out to a 3-point advantage, but the Patriots have shown a lot of improvement here in this set and will nowhere near call it quits without a hard fight to the finish.
Well, the 3-point lead for the Jaguars isn't safe with as hard as the Patriots have been fighting. We talked about how leads are never safe in volleyball. It's certainly the case again here, and that's something the Jaguars would discuss. And Jaguars have been fighting hard, trying to get back the momentum they had in set 3 and go on a roll here. That's their goal right now, and the Patriots trying to battle right back and take the lead and be in position to close out set 4.
And we've talked about numerous times throughout this season that when the Jags smell blood in the water, they are at their best.
Yes, and it showed in set 3.
And not only in set 3, but right now, you can see this particular set starting to get a little out of hand. Now it's time for the Patriots to continue to play their game that they played all set long and cause chaos defensively for the Jags. But now the Jags have possession and serve off Govea. Dig out to McGinnis, set it up beautifully for the kill on the opposing sideline there. And you couldn't have asked for a better kill from Garrison in a crucial spot for the Patriots, as now they are only trailing by 2. Gonzalez, though, so you go from the far side from the Patriots with Garrison. Next particular point, you come back on Augusta to the near side with a kill for Gonzalez. It's been one heck of a set thus far, and we've got plenty more to play here in this 4th set. Martin digs it out way over back into Patriot territory. And the Patriots capitalize outside of that dig with a strong finish. It is 17-15. Jags are in the lead. Garmos. Gonzalez comes up in the middle, sends it over. Martin. And then the block. As ruthless as the front court is in the blocking scheme for Augusta and the attacking ability for Augusta, the blocking ability has come, and they have held solid ground for the front court of the Patriots, Robert.
Well, they have 3 up front. They'll include a 6'2" and 2 players over 6 foot on their front court, and that's why it's held to their advantage, like you said. And they're still right in striking distance, 18-16.
Another long possession as you see Martin sprawl to the ground to dig that out. McGinnis back over to the near side, and confusion there for Augusta, but the point temporarily is awarded to the Patriots with an explanation of what went down as the near side, it looked like there might have been maybe a small double touch by Gonzalez, but either way, that was a really good play on possession by the Patriots. As quick as we say that, Robert, they're sent sprawling off of a dig that could literally reach the ceiling here and have plenty of time to get under it, but the reaction time from the libero and the defensive setter were not quick enough. But man, oh man, you want to talk about a rim raiser. That was an absolute roof. Raised the roof on that dig. That had height under that.
But she's trying to blow the roof off of here.
Or at least raise the roof a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
At least
yeah, absolutely.
It's like kind of like terraforming the roof a little bit, if you can. If you can, but
absolutely.
So Savannah Gonzalez now on the serve for the Jags, and little to no hesitation there on that kill from Garrison. She is really racking up the points on that far side for the Patriots. This particular set, she has been arguably the MVP this set for the Patriots. As the Jags execute beautifully and discover a hole and sizzle it on home as it's 21-18. Jags over the Patriots with the, if the Jags have a say in this, it'll be the final 4 points of this particular matchup as they score their 22nd on a dig that sails out of bounds. You cannot, though, count out the Patriots, especially with this newly reinvigorated 6 that are on the court right now.
They're rattling back and they cut it to 3 here. Jaguars trying to close this one out.
Now, Farrell goes out to get another front court player involved, as that is Liana Thigpen comes in to try to secure the front court battle for the Patriots. Massive dig out there by the Patriots, send it back over to reset their defense. And the front court pays off in a huge way, but if Martin saves it, how in the world did Martin get under that to save it? She saves it, but then back on defense for the Patriots. All they have to do is soft serve it over, and they score the 19th point. Tremendous play by Martin, but it left the court open for the Patriots to capitalize. But then on the very next point, the Jags bring this matchup crashing down with a 25-19 point victory and 3 sets to 1. You got to hand it to the Patriots, Robert. They gave
absolutely
a huge amount of trouble for the Jags here in this 4th set. Played like a different team. This set in particular, they have a lot to build off of, and they have a lot to learn from in this game as they venture into the final weeks of their season. But a tremendous start to this 3-game homestand for the Jags.
It absolutely is, and speaking of momentum, they also carry over into the next day, and that'll be in just over 15 hours from now when the Jaguars begin play at noon tomorrow against the Braves of UNC Pembroke, who are going to be determined for their first conference win of the season. And if you're the Jaguars, you do not want to be that first team.
Well, and here's the thing. We kind of had it a little bit with this being a sleeper game.
Yes.
Tomorrow is going to be even more because you know they're hungry for their first conference win. And
absolutely,
if the Jags are not careful and play their game, they're going to get caught, and Pembroke will come in and seize their opportunity here. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Jags either.
Nope.
The Braves are definitely going to come in here and play to their best of their ability, but for the Patriots, phenomenal 4th set. They got outplayed a little bit in that 4th set by a little bit of a better team. But it's a lot to build on for their final 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really all you can do at this point is build and hope you can get into the conference tournament and continue to build. But if not, keep building for the future. It's what you want to do is never look back, look forward. That's exactly what they're doing.
Absolutely. So with that being said, recap once again. The Jags took the 1st set. The Patriots took the 2nd set. Jags squared off the 3rd set and the 4th and decisive set, 25-19. On the other side of the break, we hope to have a player interview for you. If not, we will come back with more of a wrap-up and scores on the other side, but we will hopefully have a player interview for you as well in this Jags victory here tonight. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with you shortly.
Welcome back here to Christenberry Fieldhouse. I'm Robert Ambrose. I'm joined by one of the stars of today's game, Natalia Govea. Natalia, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. So you went into today's game, obviously the first of two games this weekend, and Francis Marion posted a good height advantage up front. Talk about the mentality facing them today and also just going into this weekend with what's at stake.
Okay. We know that they're a pretty good team. It's the kind of team that we cannot lay off. And even though they're ranked way below us, it's a dangerous team. So the mentality that we went on the court today at first was just the mentality like, oh, okay, like it's just another game. But then we realized that they're a hard team to win. Like they're gonna dig balls, they're gonna hit the balls on us, and we have to be prepared for that. And the mentality came in the middle of the game, I would say, and that's when we found our energy, we found our how we play together and how that works for everyone.
And it showed that third set, especially, would you say that's where it really got you guys going?
Yes, absolutely. We also changed the rotation that we got the front row, the best front row we have going in first, so that brought the offensive back to us and also played as an advantage for us.
And I know it becomes routine at this point in the season with the Friday to Saturday, and it's going to be no different tomorrow, getting ready to take on UNC Pembroke Senior Day here.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be a big day for us, for me especially, because that's probably going to be, I don't know how to say, but one of my last games playing volleyball, and I'm very excited, and hopefully we're going to win again.
And besides that, what would be your expectations in terms of how you'd want to go out and what you'd want your last game to be like?
Definitely minimize the mistakes we had on the court right now, because most of the points that they got was unforced errors coming from us. And that plays a big role, because once we make one mistake, we know that our energy goes down and we kind of don't know how to work the rest, pretty much. And yeah, I feel like we have to play together like we did on the third set and just minimize the mistakes, like I said before, because that's a big thing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know in volleyball you're not really supposed to look ahead on the schedule past the upcoming game, but you got USC Aiken and Lander coming up. How big are these matchups? You have this one on tomorrow and then Queens on Tuesday in terms of preparing for each game later down the stretch. How important are each one for getting in the conference tournament for seeding and then the NCAA tournament and beyond?
Definitely, we won the first game against Aiken, and they still ranked number 1. So that's going to be a huge game for us if we win at their home. And we're going to be prepared to play them at obviously, but one big game that we cannot rely is against Lander, because they won here, and they have also a dangerous team. They can bring whatever they want to the court. They can dig whatever balls they have to. But I would say that Aiken is a big game, but we have to be more prepared for Lander. That it's more dangerous for us, because our way to play volleyball is basically the same as Aiken.
Absolutely. Natalia, thank you very much. I'm Robert Ambrose, and I'd like to thank the star of today's game, Natalia Govea, for your time, and wish you luck. No problem. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow in just under 15 hours playing again. It's a short turnaround.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. No problem. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up, and we'll take a look at other scores from around the league here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. All right, so do you want us to do scoreboard or you want me to do it? We'll do scoreboard and then
Yeah.
we'll do a
I'd like to thank Natalia Govea for that wonderful interview that she gave in a phenomenal win versus Francis Marion. But let's gallivant across the league and take a gander at what happen on this Friday to make it even more interesting in the Peach Belt Conference. So as we have talked about, Augusta has conquered Francis Marion 3-1, and then Aiken continues their role as of late with a 3-1 victory over Flagler. Then Georgia College takes it to UNC Pembroke 3-0. Georgia College is on a roll, and they continue that against Pembroke. Now tomorrow is looking to be really crucial as well, because Pembroke goes toe-to-toe with USC Aiken at 5. Lander clashes against Flagler at 2. Georgia College is at home on their home court versus these Patriots at 2. And then, as you know, here at Christenberry Fieldhouse, we are the early game with Pembroke at 12 noon Eastern. So it's looking to be an exquisite day tomorrow for volleyball as well, with a lot of Peach Belt Conference implications involved as well. And one quick note to point out to what Natalia Gavea was saying, the only conference loss that Aiken has is here at Christenberry Fieldhouse. So that's going to make that game
that much more important, absolutely.
On the second, extremely important. So that's another caveat. But Robert, for what you've seen here today, what are your final thoughts on how the game was, what the Jags have upcoming, and how you see the rest of the season playing out?
Well, the Patriots put up a great fight because they're trying to stay alive for the conference tournament, and it's become a lot harder for them. They're still not out of it yet, and they can bounce back, but it's going to get a lot harder with each game for them at this point, and they came out playing hard today. And the difference really in this game, and Natalia said it best, it was that third set when the Jaguars absolutely got on the roll and there was no stopping it. Yes, the Patriots did come back and make it a good game in set 4, but set 3 really became the difference and really hurt the Patriots' chances and really propelled the Jaguars to victory. And this one, and the Jaguars are hoping it propels them tomorrow for their noon game against UNC Pembroke. And the Jaguars also hoping, and as far as rivalries go, and as far as catching the Pacers in the standings, to make the Braves, or actually maybe if they can beat the Braves, they can anger them a little bit, and the Braves can take it out on the Pacers in the evening, because the Braves will travel across the border for a 5 o'clock matchup with the Pacers tomorrow. So maybe if the Jaguars are able to beat the Braves can take a little anger out on the Pacers, and then that could somehow help the Jaguars catch the Pacers in the standings before they face USC Aiken on Friday of next week.
So with that being said, we'll have to wait just a little bit to get the final tallies of tomorrow's
Yes,
games
we will.
versus the Braves and the Pacers, as they serve off at 5, and then we may get a glimpse into the Flagler-Lander game at 2. But folks, stay tuned to the Peach Belt Conference website and the day's action ahead tomorrow, because it is going to be very crucial in terms of what we've been talking about with the Peach Belt standings and the conference leading into the regional playoffs and whatnot. So to wrap things up here, the Jags come in to Christenberry in a tough-fought contest, especially the first and fourth set. They had a tough test against the Patriots, prevailed and conquered. But as you pointed out, it sets them up beautifully for tomorrow, and then a really tough matchup on Tuesday versus Queens.
That matchup will be tough, and there'll be a lot more than just conference tournament seeding on the line here in that one, as the Jaguars are trying to host the NCAA tournament matchup as well, if they can get a good seeding there as well. And that's why that's so important, and also just for momentum's sake going into the next weekend in the road games.
Oh, yeah. The final week of the regular season is going to be extremely captivating to watch. Thank you guys for staying with us and continuing to tune into the Jaguar Athletic Network. For my partner, Robert Ambrose, I am Blake Collins. We will see you guys bright and early at noon tomorrow.